Now, the student protests over financial exclusion are continuing in Johannesburg, with students calling for free education. Earlier on today, students took their fight to a mining statue in Braamfontein, saying their call for quality and decolonized education includes the decolonization of the broader country. Now, for the latest on the demonstrations, we cross live to our reporter, Hitekani Magwedze, who is following that story for us. A very good afternoon to you, Hitekani. A little bit earlier on, we had Zikona walking down the streets and marching down the streets of Braamfontein with a throng of young people who tried to bring down one of the statues in Braamfontein. What is the situation like now on the ground? Is the march still on? Is there still activity? Are the students still marching around the streets of Braamfontein?
Well, Tammy, the calls for free higher education still resounds here in Braamfontein. As you rightly said, that my colleagues Zikona Chona brought us those visuals of students marching around the streets of Braamfontein, as we have seen in the past couple of days as well. But right now we are at the gates of Wits University. As you can see behind me, we have been barred from going inside. As you can see, the gates are closed. Police officers or security guards are manning those gates, ensuring that whoever goes inside is a student. We understand, though, that students have gone inside for a meeting. The Wits SRC is currently addressing the students, and to talk to us a bit about what the details of the meeting entail, we are joined by a Wits SRC member. Just talk to us about what the contents of the meeting are about. What is it that you're talking to the students about?
Well, good afternoon to you and your viewers, and thank you so much for giving us this platform. So what we are going to see going into Monday is much more of a unified student body behind the call of free, decolonized quality education. You would have seen that in the past 2-3 days, there were divisions across party lines. You've seen leaders go on Twitter as well, and they are saying, if you are a member of this organization, distance yourself from a movement which is led by this organization. So the SRC is calling all student formations on campus, all people leading student formations, and they are saying to them, look, we need to agree that this is a student agenda which is bigger than all political lines, and we need to forge unity. If it means that we are going to put our badges down so that our agenda can be achieved, we must do so. So going into next week post this meeting, what you're going to see is a much more unified voice, students who are saying, look, we come from different parties, but at the end of the day, what unites us is one cause, and that cause seeks to liberate black students in particular. So that's what you're going to see going into next week, and that's what the meeting is all about.
Now, Kanakana, we've seen in the last Fees Must Fall protest that there were, the purity and the sacrosanct of the march was a little bit tainted because of political parties, some trying to hijack, some trying to have their brand seen over the entire march. Is this a similar thing that you're doing, and what are you learning from the previous Fees Must Fall participants?
What we are learning is that there are those amongst us who are doing what we are doing to score political points, to drive political narratives, and we have the responsibility to ensure that post this we achieve what we want. Our agenda is successfully fulfilled, and not necessarily send people to higher positions in their political parties, or people getting deployments in parliament, because that is not why we are here. What unites us is a common agenda, and as students we need to ensure that we soldier on, we fight together to reach that common destination. But what I think is important at this point in time is to assure you that we have received numerous calls from various organizations, including the PYA as well as the EFFSC, to say, look, this is bigger than our political badges. Our politicians are in parliament on a daily basis. As much as they do raise these pertinent issues, the truth is government is still not doing anything. We need to be united, and we need to ensure that everyone across that parliament takes young students serious, particularly when it comes to the cause of free quality education. Now, I want to deviate a bit and clarify something that is disheartening. We've got a serious problem in this country, a problem of state incompetence. I mean, you had a minister 3 days ago crying foul, going to a family of the deceased, saying, look, we can assure you that justice is going to be served. But 3 days later, we still don't have a name of the police that fired that shot. 3 days later, justice has not been served from Thokozisi. The person who shot the fire is there on video. The police who were in that Inyanga are all aware of who went out and who fired that shot. Now, it is disingenuous for someone to say, we've collected all the guns, we want to see who shot that shot, when they can simply interrogate as to who was that officer, and action must be taken. If the state really wants us to take them serious and believe that they do not do what they do to score political points to win the next elections, they need to give us names. We all know the face, all we need is the name, and we need to ensure that Thokozisi and his family are awarded the justice that they deserve.
Now, of course, we saw some of your colleagues and fellow students going to pay homage to Thokozisi last night, but I want to deviate as well to the suspension of yourself and a fellow SRC member. Where is that standing? And I understand that there are some it wasn't done correctly according to you and other students as well.
So it is quite funny. We have been suspended by the university, and we have not been charged with anything. We are told that we are being investigated, and we will be told about our charges. We've been suspended for 45 days. We are not allowed to access university precincts. We are not allowed to access our own residences. But at this point in time, it is quite shocking and alarming that the university is using apartheid tactics to silence students who are crying for what is a genuine cause, in my opinion. And we want to categorically state it again. This is not a movement which is led by myself or a movement which is led by Gabriela Faber. This is a student movement. You cannot silence an idea whose time has come. And people need to start appreciating the fact that when students are not protesting for alcohol to be opened, when students are not protesting for a liquor shop to be established at campus, but they are protesting for what is right, which is access to education, we need to listen to these people, because it is academics, it is vice chancellors who tell us every day through their research papers that if you do not access the door of learning, if you do not go to school and get the appropriate education which speaks to the skills that are relevant to the economy, you are going to remain at the bottom part of the hierarchy. Your livelihood is not going to be a better one. But it is quite funny that the very same people that tells us these things are the same ones who are closing the doors of learning for those who do not have the financial capacity to do so.
All right, thank you very much, Kanakana, for talking to us. Of course, that was Kanakana Mudzanani. He is an SRC member who has been suspended by Wits University alongside with Gabriela Faber. They have said that this is a tactic to try and silence, especially the people who are leading these protests, and to try and silence the voice of the students, as you heard from him saying that it's an apartheid tactic, but it doesn't seem as though those are indeed tactics are being effective at all. As I said earlier, that there is currently a meeting that's taking place inside where the Wits SRC members, other members who are not suspended and barred from entering the Wits campus and facilities of the campus are directing those meetings. And it does seem, Tammy, I must reiterate that it does seem as though there is a lot more gathered strength to continue with these calls for free higher education, despite the assurances by the Department of Higher Education that they're redirecting and rechanneling funds to try and assist students who want, first-year students who want funding.